Hey guys, welcome back. I am not Princess Jasmine and welcome to Bound to Books, where I discuss books that I loved, books that I hate, and everything far and few between. So if that is something you like, stay tuned because today we're going to be talking about a book that I finished recently, and not gonna lie, this one had me in a chokehold. Up until the very end, I was feeling hardcore. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I recently finished this book that I'm talking about a couple of weeks ago, and I have not stopped thinking about it since I finished it. When I say this book left me obliterated, I'm not joking. Literally, I'm so salty about it. I don't even want to go there. This book had me screaming out loud in anger, in sadness, but it was a 5-star read. So let's talk about this. So we are talking about The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This was actually a book club book of the month for the month of July. And I'll be honest, I had purchased this book some time ago because I knew that it was one of the books going around Book Talk, and it's been sitting on my bookshelf and I just had other things to read, so I didn't read it. I just bought it and put it on the shelf. But when it came up in the book club, I was very excited to read it. And so the first couple of chapters I had a hard time getting into it and I almost didn't want to read it. But then it started to get good and I couldn't put it down. So I will say that The Night and the Moth is not here to comfort you. It's going to call your soul into the cathedral and you're going to spiral rapidly behind those stained glass doors. So, what is The Night and the Moth about? This book follows a group of young women who was taken from an orphanage at a very young age and brought to a very special cathedral where they become prophetess. So they drowned in flower rotten water, and when I mean drowned, somebody holds their head under until they pass out. And then when they pass out, they get dreams of the future. So people come here to see what their future holds. So they are able to communicate with the omens, and they let these people know whether or not their future is looking good based off of what the omens tell them in their dreams, and they interpret that how they will. There is 6 young ladies who live in said cathedral. They are not allowed to leave the grounds. So think about nuns, right? They have a strict set of rules that they are supposed to follow. Newsflash, these ladies don't follow any of them. So they're not allowed to leave the grounds, they're not supposed to be smoking, they're not supposed to be drinking. They do all of that. They're young women, they want to go out and experience life, so they're sneaking out. They are smoking some special plant that makes them not nauseous. And also they are finding partners in the nearby village to spend their time with. These ladies are stripped away from their names and their personal lives that they had beforehand. So they're actually named by number. So like I said, there is 6 of them. So they are named 1 through 6. And this story follows number 6. So that is what we call her for the majority of the book, is 6. And 6 is actually a strict to the rules kind of girl. Like all of the other girls in the cathedral like to go out and have a fun time, and none of them follow the rules to the T like 6 does. So she wants to basically be the big sister and take care of all the other girls. So when the king of the land, the brand new king that was just anointed, He is a boy king. I think he's like 17, 18, if that. Comes to see what the omens have in store for him. She purposely draws a short straw when they were picking straws so she could be the one to read his future, because again, they're drowning. It's painful. Who wants to do that? So she ends up going through the ritual to tell him what his future is, and he gets all 5 bad omens. So after another, it's a bad sign altogether. So when she comes out of her dream, she lets the king know that there's trouble afoot. You're gonna have some problems in your near future, so you should probably take care of yourself. When the king came to the cathedral, he brought all of his knights, and one of the knights that he brought was Rory. Rory is a sarcastic jerkface who has a problem with authority and does not believe in the omens. Also, he just has a big attitude and thinks that he's better than everybody else. And the young women meet these knights, including Rory. They instantly don't like him. They think that he's a pompous, not friendly person. He's got a sharp mind, but an even sharper tongue, and he is morally gray and has that level of self-loathing that makes you want to hug him but also slap him silly at the same time. There's no in between. It's both. He's not a monster by any means. He just has that level of arrogance, and just his entire attitude is not it. He's angry, he lashes out at everybody, is emotionally on lockdown, but he is entirely magnetic. So after the king gets his omens read, something happens where one by one her fellow sisters start to disappear until she's the only one left. This obviously raises some concerns. What's happening to the sisters? Why are they disappearing? Why isn't the abbess, the woman who is taking care of these young women, not concerned? And why isn't she doing anything about it? Said knight actually took the girls out on the town for a night excursion because number 6 asked him politely to do it after he was able to outsmart him in a game. So his punishment was he had to take them out on the town for a night, which he does so, and directly after that happens is when the girls start disappearing one by one. And every night another person disappears and the door actually gets locked so they can't leave, but they're still disappearing. So the door being locked did absolutely nothing. And that being said, Rory is never too far away. So after she realizes that everybody has disappeared and she's the only one left, Rory actually appears at the perfect time and breaks into the cathedral and offers to assist her in finding her lost sisters. So she ends up leaving with Rory, but not without the abscess trying to stop her from leaving. One thing that I have failed to mention is in this cathedral there are gargoyles who are alive and move around and do the abscess's bidding. Only one of them can talk, and they are sprites who don't have a past whatsoever. They don't remember what their past life was like. But this one gargoyle that can talk, he is the bat-like gargoyle, and his banter is what makes this book so special. He's just overly excited and joyful at every step of the way, which really pulls at your heartstrings. He will say the most out-of-pocket things. What are you even talking about over there? But it's always at the best moment possible. You're having the worst day ever, and the gargoyle is over here having his best day every day. So Newsflash, everybody needs a gargoyle for a friend. So, number 6 leaves. Gargoyle wants to come along, so Rory begrudgingly agrees to allow the gargoyle to leave with them. So off they go to find the missing diviners. The young women who tell the future by drowning are called the diviners. And the rest of the story follows their journey to find out what happened to the diviners. So Rory is one of the king's knights, so they travel around this world asking about what's going on with the diviners. The book follows Six, Rory, and the rest of the knights' company to not only find the missing diviners, but also to accomplish the king's goal, which we're not going to talk about what the king's goal is. You're going to have to read the book to figure out what that exactly is, because I don't offer spoilers here. So let's talk about Six's and Rory's relationship. So right off the bat, Six low-key hates Rory. He is just a pompous, not friendly person. He's got an attitude, and he's just straight up rude. He is not knightly at all, and he is not anything like what she expects a knight to be. So she gives him attitude right back, and from the very start, they start off on the wrong foot. Anytime that they interact, there's issues. She's got a problem with him, he's got a problem with her. There is no friendliness whatsoever. It's all mean all the time. They are not a ship. They are a collision. Their dynamic is tension wrapped in quiet desperation. Every glance, every word feels sacrilegious in the best way possible. This book does not have any wild world-saving plot in it. It is very much so characters first. This book feels very intimate and gothic. It gives off very old-timey vibes with the world building and just overall how the characters interact with each other. The cathedral setting bleeds atmosphere. Relics humming with power, candles flickering in the darkness, unspeakable truths being withheld, and shadows layered with dread. Rachel Gilling's magic system is almost metaphysical. Think less spells and more curses. Less flash, more symbolism. You do not read this book. This book reads you. It looks deep into your soul, sees what your desires are, what your fears are, and it plays off of all of them. This book is going to leave you emotionally devastated. You're going to get so attached to the characters that if anything happens to any of your favorite characters, you're just going to be destroyed. Done. Absolute heartbreak. Let's go into it further. Let's get into Rory's and Six's relationship on a closer scale. Rory is extremely arrogant. He loves to antagonize, but he is emotionally wounded. He has a very tragic backstory, which explains why he is the way he is, but it also does not give him an excuse to be the way he is. He challenges authority with biting sarcasm and hides every scar with indifference. But his mask does crack eventually, and when it cracks and you see the true Rory, or devastation. He's not the kind of guy who offers love, he offers pure devotion. But not regular pure devotion, it is pure devotion wrapped in bitterness. What about Six? Throughout the story, we see Six completely racked with grief over the loss of her sisters. She is trying to find out what the truth is, and throughout the book, we do see her progress as she learns more about what the situation is. She decides to change her viewpoint on the world, what her religious beliefs are, and she basically just becomes a completely different person. At the beginning of the book, we see that she is a shy girl who is not very sure of herself. She is a rule follower through and through. These women wear a shawl over their face, specifically their eyes. So they wear the covering over their eyes so nobody can see that. And she's just not confident in herself, and it carries in the way that she acts as well as what her words and her body language is. So throughout the story, we see her find herself, as in she grows a personality. She becomes a strong woman who doesn't take anything from anybody. These two, their tension is not built on flirtation. The very first night she met him, she retched all over his boots, and that left a long, you can imagine. Their tension is built on shared silence, philosophical conflict, and the ache of needing somebody that you can't have. So both of them have a sort of tragic backstory. Obviously, Six came from an orphanage where she doesn't know who her parents are. She doesn't know what came before the cathedral. And Rory, he also has a tragic backstory as well. So they kind of bond over that once she finds out what his life was before he became a knight. This is a romance born in a rebellion. So as a knight, you are not supposed to wed. You are not supposed to have bedmates. And the same goes for a diviner. She's not supposed to have any sort of relationship or have any emotions besides what is in the best interest of the cathedral. So both of them are trying to ignore their feelings for each other, which is probably why they're so grumpy all the time, let's be honest. When they finally do come together, it really much so comes. He will do anything in his power to make sure that she stays safe, and personally, I thought that was great. Good job, Rory. Let's talk about the tropes of this book. First, we have heretic and prophetess. He is questioning the omens, so he questions literally every single thing that she stands for and she believes in, yet he still wants her anyways. We love that. This doesn't go enemies to lovers, it goes enemies to reluctant alliance to unbearable intimacy. Philosophical tension with emotional bite, cursed devotion and faith-based grief, and a slow burn that is so slow you feel like you're in purgatory. This book is not spicy, so there is one or two scenes in it. It is not a spicy read at all. It is more about the journey and them getting to know each other and overall how they fall in love. So there is a spicy meter today, but if there was going to be a spicy meter, looks like I just put one in, I would say it's a 2 out of 5 read. Like I said, it's not about the spiciness in here. It's about the journey, and the journey itself is so beautiful, guys. But devastating, so watch out. Let's talk about the mood and the atmosphere now. This book is pure cathedral core. Literally, they live in the grounds of a church. What more do you want? This book is extremely gothic. Silent chapel where the shadows are breathing, candles are flickering, and the walls whisper. It's really giving off spooky vibes in a happy setting, if that makes sense. This is not a horror book. It's definitely not considered a romance either. It is sacred despair. Rachel writes, she's asking you to mourn beauty and question belief. Everything feels symbolic, metaphorical, alive with grief. So we're not going to be giving any spoilers, but we will talk about how devastated I was at the end of the book. This book The ending was catastrophic. It felt like I was hit with a wrecking ball, full speed ahead. There was no warning how this was going to end. You're just like, happy going along, thinking like everything's fine, and then boom! It sucker punches you in the gut. Literally no warning whatsoever. My heart shattered into a million pieces. I did not recover. I'm still upset. This isn't okay, guys. There isn't a second book out. There's nothing. You can't just move on to the next one to make sure everything's okay. No, she's still writing it. So, Rachel, I'm outside your window watching you type your next book. You need to hurry up. I need it now. I need to know everything's okay. So, please finish your job. I literally was reading the last chapter and I screamed out loud. Why did you do this to me? Seriously, I wasn't expecting, and this is the book club read of the month. Nobody warned me this was happening. How dare you know this was coming and just let me fall this hard? How dare you? Literally upset with you. You know who you are. So if you're looking for a read that will be a wild ride, this book had me laughing almost the entire book. I absolutely loved the banter between the characters. The gargoyle makes the entire book. Everybody needs a gargoyle for a friend and even a pet, if that's what you want to call him. Don't call him that to his face because he's gonna get mad and you're gonna hear how sassy he gets. So maybe don't call him that. But if you're looking for a book that is definitely considered a romantasy, that has action, it has romance, it has slow burn, it leaves you on the edge of your seat, and the ending leaves you emotionally devastated, try The Night and the Moth. I think that you will absolutely like it. This was a 5-star read for me. Regardless of how the book ends, I am still very happy that I read this book, and I will be recommending it to anybody who listens. And I'm still upset about this. I think that this book is for you, and I also think that you should be telling me down in the comments below what your thoughts are on this book if you've read this book, and make sure that you're recommending me other books to be reading. I read all of my comments that I get, and I'm always looking for new books to read, so if you could drop me a comment and give me a book suggestion, I would love that. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like and a comment, and if you like book-related content, please consider subscribing to Bound to Books, where I post a video weekly and I cover book reviews. I show what my TBR looks like for the month. I rant at the books that I'm reading. I laugh, I cry alongside you. This is a great place to be, so you might as well just subscribe to me because you liked the video. I have to go start my next book, so have a great day, guys, and I will see you in the next one.